Welcome to the latest edition of the Believeland Prep Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Palmer, joined by my co-host. Once again, finally, we're back together, Derek Dimmitt, and our special guest, Joe Ewell from the JE Academy. Is that correct? Did I say that right? Okay, sometimes I see the logo and it throws me off a little bit. So, Joe, just kind of tell us a little bit about who you are and just talk about the Academy a little bit.
Yeah, so I grew up in Garrettsville, not far from where I coach at Cardinal now, and graduated from Garrettsville when I played 3 years of college football at Bluffton. Came back, finished school up this way in Northeast Ohio. Started coaching at University School last year, and always have wanted to get into this. Obviously the coaching part of things, but also the training side of things, which is what we do at JEA. And we've I think our company's done a phenomenal job this off season, just being able to, stick to our true values of a company. It's on our website. And, any packet that I give you for the academy, any type of paperwork, it's on it. And we always talk about building it from the ground up, and being the outlet to a successful life for these kids. That's really the number one thing, just being able to be that safe place that they can come to and work on their craft, because there's a lot of kids who deserve opportunities that some people don't give them, or a lot of the time we want to be the person that can give that kid the extra jolt so that he can get 1% better that day. And hopefully our business and our policies and our philosophies and the way that we teach things and the way that we believe things should be taught best fits the kids these days.
And at what age do they typically start with the academy? Like, are we talking middle school or?
It'll vary. Yeah. We definitely target like high school to college guys. Target high school guys, developing them on throughout. We do have a couple middle school guys in the end, about like 5 or 6, and it's not an area that we truly target, but who am I to tell a kid that did not get work, right? If a young man wants to, is reaching out to me and they're putting their best foot forward. I always bring up my one middle school client at Hudson Middle School, Asher Wilnick. He's a phenomenal young man. He's a phenomenal wide receiver. He's going to have a really, really good 8th grade season for Hudson this upcoming year. He's a beast. He trains with my college guys. Asher's on a whole nother level, in all honesty. And he, having a kid like that, we see his work ethic time in and time out. He did a session with my high school guys one time, and my high school guys were kind of like, hey, get him with the college guys, see what he does or something like that. So we threw him with our wide receiver from West Virginia State. And, it was awesome. He loved it. He soaked up all the knowledge that Nolan was teaching. It's just an awesome feel. And then we have a tight end at Garrettsville, quarterback at Champion, a quarterback at University School as well. And then few and far between that, that are transitioning from that, that are in that 2027 class. So they're transitioning from middle school to high school.
When did the academy start? Like, when did you realize that this is something that you had wanted to do?
Yeah, so it started last November. In all honesty, it's crazy. I've always wanted to do something. I was a very humble person with myself growing up. I was never really like confident in my playing abilities or anything like that. So I played quarterback, right? I was a 5'8", 5'9" quarterback at best, and those metrics just don't get it to the NFL sometimes. I realized that at a very, very young age. Probably about middle school area, going from that 8th grade to 9th grade year, and really what it came into me for was I really wanted to be a sport agent. So I just started, I started doing all the research for a while. I remember the CW had a series, and it was like a reality show with sports agents from like 4 different firms. And I still remember that. I loved it. I was watching it live every single week. It was like my little like secret to like, oh, I'm getting like the inside scoop in a way. And it was cool because they were representing college guys. Like that was when I remember Tevin Coleman was still in Indiana, and the one sports agent was trying to get him to sign with his agency. And So, it was cool seeing guys like that, and Kevin had a really, really good NFL career. So, it's cool seeing that. But then, sports agent and everything. And then I went on and played and stuff like that in college. And I took a recommendation from a guest speaker I heard my freshman year, and I've never really ran away from it since. And I took an hour away from my day to just connect with people. And throughout that connecting in my 3 years at Bluffton, about just, calling these random people on LinkedIn and texting them and, Zoom calling and whatever it may be. Throughout that time, I really just picked a lot of people's brains on their careers in the sports world. So I always knew, I wanted to be related to the sports world in some way. And I recommend that to anybody. And I asked a bunch of questions. I was always the dumbest person in the room. And I just wanted to learn and soak up as much knowledge as I could. I did that for those 3 years that I could, and I took it and ran with it, and it always seemed like just being the positive influence in a young person's life was what God put me on this planet to do, and I feel like I'm pretty decent at it, and that I can affect kids in a positive manner and everything. So I feel like it's always really been something I've wanted to do. I just never in the sports world, I just never knew what direction I really wanted to go to in that department in a way.
Then, with the academy, I see on your socials that you do college visits. Is that something strictly through the academy, or does that tie into some of the coaching side of things?
Well, it'll go, hand in hand and stuff like that. Sometimes we'll have some kids who overlap. Same from last year. But college visits and stuff like that. The academy's still very young. We're not even a full year old, and neither am I doing this. So big thing that colleges want to see is they want to see credibility as well, and so for me to be able to go out and go get all these college visits and stuff like that, it's it's a large part of credit to the kids, because everybody thinks it's all a lot of stuff that I do and things like that. And I make phone calls. I text people. Post about it on Twitter and things like that. And you could say that helps and stuff like that, but it's also, the kids just putting in the work day in and day out. But it's almost a surreal type of feeling, taking these kids on some of these college visits, because, I wasn't highly recruited out of high school or anything. So, I never got to go on those types of things. So it's almost, like I took, coaching wise, not training wise, but I took a group of, six kids, I believe, to Akron University back in May, and that was a really, really cool experience. I never visited Akron as a player. I went to one of their camps, but to be able to go inside and everything, and then be able to have Coach Moorhead talk to you and stuff like that, it was a really cool experience, and all the kids loved it. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the biggest thing is like, it's just it's like I'll never be mad for taking a kid to a visit, because it's it's a great problem to have. We were, JEA collectively took 6 kids to the Mercyhurst Showcase last Friday, and we were sitting there trying to figure out who's going to take who, and what parents were going to take what, and it's like, when we have that kind of situation, it's a really good problem, because it means that we're sending a lot of kids up there to go compete and go get better that day. So I kind of think that's where that goes.
So you've obviously trained a lot of athletes. Talk about some of the athletes that you've trained that have gone on to play college ball at a high level, or just at any level, to be honest, and maybe some who are even pursuing the next level.
We got a lot of guys who are pursuing the next level at every level. I think our premier athletes in a way at the academy is Tyler Stevens, tight end at Missouri. The guys, can't say enough about that guy. He's been my go-to guy for a lot of stuff throughout this academy. Throughout this 8-10 month stint, he called him back in November and told him my plans for the business, everything that I want to do, really why I want to do it. And he said, man, dog, I believe in you. And him and I never really stopped working together out of high school. We coming from Trumbull County or Portage County, just our area of small school football. You don't see too many kids going to going to college really. maybe you'll get 2 to 3 kids, in each graduating class from that school that are signing on to a college. And, so when that happened and, that COVID summer hit, because that was our freshman year of college. So that COVID summer hit, a lot of the local guys, we just all got together and we, God bless Hiram College. Because, that field was never in use, and we would just go get work. And it still to this day, it was some of the most fun time I've spent on the football field, because it was just 5-6 guys every single day. We had nothing else to do because it was COVID, and we just got work. So being able to work with Tyler throughout that and calling him and him just saying, I believe in you, man. It was a huge motivator. And then ended up scoring on a big time wide receiver. One of my very close friends from high school, Dylan Wilson. He committed to Walsh University out of high school, and now he's at Gannon. He'll probably end up starting for them this upcoming year. But one of his very close friends at Walsh University, Nolan Johnson, who played at Cleveland Heights, played quarterback and wide receiver for them. He played wide receiver at Walsh. He just transferred to West Virginia State, and Nolan's a beast, man. He's a beast. He's the definition of a dog. There's no doubt about it. He puts in the work day in and day out. I've had him since December. I'm so excited to see Nolan this upcoming fall, because we've spent so much timeless hours, so many timeless sessions that he's came and caught for my QBs at. So the amount of extra footballs he's just seen thrown his way. It's been really, really awesome for him to be able to help out. And something that him, Tyler, and then Ray, probably top wide receiver this upcoming year. Hiram. Ray's a dog too, man. He's Ray can run with the best of them. There's no doubt about it. There's very, very few people who I think can guard Ray or who can tackle Ray in open field. And the numbers showed from last year and the year before that. I'll go watch a game from Wittenberg 2 years ago, or from Wabash 2 years ago, sorry, and see Ray light up the field, or go watch his highlights from last year and just see Ray highlight the field the whole time. That's going to be a lot of similar things I think you guys see this year at Hiram College football. Because Ray's a beast. He works his tail off. He lives there all year round. He trains with us all the time. Ray's a special type of dude, no doubt about it. He was my assistant coach on the 7-on-7 team this year too. So he came up to Syracuse with us, and that was just awesome to see the way that he was able to work with the kids, to see the way that he was able to just help the kids and really relate to them still at the playing aspect of things. The kids absolutely love Ray. They had a blast with him. Ray was able to finish up his last summer internship with JEA. So, he was our first intern at the Joe Ewell Academy. And that was a really, really cool thing to be able to do, since I've seen it done with other businesses, other groups that I've been part of, obviously. And, Ray presented it to me and said, how he needed to do it. And, I'm happy that JEA was able to help, get him in there and get it done. And it definitely benefited our kids as well.
And then this coming weekend, you have a youth camp. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of the academy players that will be there to assist these young players that are looking to learn more about the game?
Yeah, for sure. So we got our youth camp's coming up. Last day to register is today, actually, July 21st. But we got about 15, 20 kids showing out, I believe. And, it's a small camp and everything, not the numbers that we wanted to see, obviously. But, understanding is, right, we're 8 to 10 months into this thing. And, it's our first youth camp and everything. And, we do have a couple kids who are in youth, and our top youth athlete is he'll be on vacation that day. Brooks Womnick at Hudson. He probably throws a better ball than, some of my high school guys with a high school ball sometimes. Brooks a different breed. There's no doubt about it. So, missing Brooks and that whole thing, but we're excited to have all these young guys out here and everything. It's a really, really cool full circle moment for me, because when I was in high school at James A. Garfield, I was a high school coach for the 4 years that I was in high school, and I coached youth football down there, and so it's a really cool full circle feeling, because that's where I started myself at and everything, and I know I want to do more. This upcoming winter with it, this upcoming spring, we got some big plans for this upcoming off season. We're going to be able to hopefully expand and do a little bit more youth work, do a little bit more middle school work, and still keep up on our high school and college work. Is a big thing that we pride ourselves on. Is just attention to detail, and a 1 to 10 or a 1 to 15 trainer to student ratio. So being able to really keep that attention to detail, and having multiple trainers in the tight end, running back, and wide receiver room like we'll have at the youth camp, to really focus on some certain things or certain routes, and then helping us out at the youth camp wise, we'll have, so, I'll be working with the quarterbacks and wide receivers a lot. Ray and Nolan are going to be helping out. So, Ray being the receiver at Hiram and everything, and Nolan being my wide receiver at West Virginia State, they'll be working with the wide receivers and DBs and a little bit of the tight ends. And then Tyler Stevens from Missouri, and then Austin Lyzik, who is a grad from James A. Garfield. He graduated in the class of 21. Austin was, one of the best running backs I've played with in my life, probably. He's an absolute beast. And we put in a lot of work this offseason with him training too. He's actually in the transfer portal. He'll graduate from Mount Union this fall with an undergrad degree, and then he'll have 2 years of eligibility left. So we're excited to see where he takes off too, because he's developed such a twitchiness this offseason that's unlike something we haven't seen from him before in the past, or from what I've seen from him in high school. So it's really cool having him help out. So him and Tyler will be working with they'll be working with the running backs and tight ends a little bit, obviously, because Tyler plays tight end. And then offensive line wise, we'll have Connor Johnson, who's the strength conditioning coach at Western Reserve, and he'll also be he's also our strength guy as well. So he makes all of our stuff that we do at the Set Fitness. Connor's fantastic. Can't say enough about him and the work he's done for us. He's our juice. First thing that the kids are going to see is Connor probably blowing a whistle, jumping up and down, clapping his hands, yelling, screaming. He's our energy, no doubt about it. So it's awesome having Connor on the field with us. And then, we'll have Zach Slapnicker, our O-line trainer. Connor's our D-line and linebacker trainer a little bit. And then we'll have our O-line trainer, Zach Slapnicker there. Connor dabbles in the O-line too. Zach needs, we have bigger groups or something like that and we need the numbers. But Zach, Zach's a phenomenal O-line coach and everything. A huge credit to, Dale Riddick over at T3 teaching Zach how to play O-line. Really, is that he spent, it's about 3 years with Zach, teaching him how to do it. And so, it's always nice having a proven guy like, Dale Riddick and everything, being able to take his knowledge that he's taught Zach and for him to bring it over to JEA is really nice, because, the person that put him with Dale over there, he does amazing work over there. And, I'm never going to say anything bad about that. But, Zach's going to be doing awesome. He loves working with the young guys and everything. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I'll be working with the DBs with Ray, Nolan, and Tyler and his dad will be working with linebackers, and then Zach and Connor will be working with the D-line. Pretty big guy coming out too and everything with, Tyler's dad and stuff like that. Tony Stevens will be guest speaking and helping out for the youth camp, which is going to be really, really cool to see. He is a former Browns player, played linebacker for them, played at Kent State. I think he's ranked like 9th all time in their tackles for the career or something like that. So I know he's top 10. I don't want to short Tony on anything big tone, but I know he's top 10. Tony was a beast, no doubt about it. And his kids show it for sure, and Hayden and Tyler. So we're really excited about the youth camp and everything, but we definitely can't wait to show you guys what the plans are for this upcoming off season as well.
So one last question. You kind of touched on the 7-on-7 team a little bit earlier. Just talk about the experiences you've had with that and how that whole thing kind of came about.
Yeah, so it's kind of been something always that I've wanted to do, but Ohio still has rules that their football players cannot compete in 7-on-7s until the month of June. So that's always kind of put a little bit of a hold on it and stuff like that, because all of our kids always see the stuff on social media, all the battle stuff, all of the overtime elite stuff and things like that, and all these 4 or 5-star guys going out there, or these teams from Hawaii showing up and beating all these teams from Cali and things like that. So it's tough for our guys, and all they want to do is just go compete, right? It's not about it's not about JEA. It's not about the stars, the offers. It's it's about you going to compete, because that's what this great game was made for and everything. And it was awesome to see 13, 14 different guys from different areas, different demographics and everything, different schools, communities, etc., work together. Because it's a such bigger skill that they're learning at the high school level before they have the opportunity potentially to go do it in college. And something that you have to do in college is win with people from different communities, different areas, demographics, etc. And you have to do that for the greater good of the program, and you have to do that for the greater good to go get a win, really, and go win a chip, right? Everybody wants that ring on their finger. And, that's what we told the kids and stuff like that. We went to Toledo and we went to Syracuse. If you want an offer from them, let's go win their tournament, right? If you want an offer, let's go win their Final Four. Really easy way, because then not a lot of teams left playing, right? Coach's eyes are going to be on you. Go make plays, go win. We didn't end up doing that. And, that's okay. We had a very, very young team and everything. But, our kids competed like no other. We showed out. We finished 9th. Top 8 made the cut at Toledo. And then I can't tell you either one. I have no clue where the bracket went. But maybe Elite 8 or the Final Four in Syracuse, which is really awesome. I've never seen our kids play so good. They were playing fast. They were just gas. We ran into the 3rd team in the country, Bergen Catholic, and they're in New Jersey. They're a different breed, no doubt about it. They're something special for sure. But that doesn't matter. Our kids definitely could have beat them. There's no question about that in my mind. But we had 13, they had 30. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And being that was game 9 of the day, right? So that game 9, our kids going both ways and everything. We only had we had 2 one-way players on offense and 2 one-way players on defense. Everybody else played both ways. So and one of those one-way players on offense being our quarterback. So really only one-way player on offense, right? So our kids were really, really tired. It probably would have benefited us if our quarterback could have played defense, in honesty, because he's got the biggest break on offense. But their tiredness caught up to them, and I'll never be mad at those kids. They balled out like crazy. We saw kids doing things I've never seen those kids do before, and they did what you have to do in college to win, and they learned that skill, and most kids in high school never get to learn that skill, especially just in certain areas, even just public schools or certain private schools, like you never learn that. And it's, and learning it from the overall perspective of Northeast Ohio as well is something different, because normally you'll see it, okay, just your Cleveland guys or just your Akron guys or just Canton or Youngstown or whatever, and then, to see Cleveland, Akron, Middlefield, Rocky River, Moreland Hills, Shaker Heights, to see all of that collectively come together from where all those kids live, it was something special. It was awesome. And, I can't say enough about our parents for giving those kids rides, hotels, and everything. And I can't say enough about the parents to help out, for helping me out and everything, because, I am only 22 years old, and keeping track of, 13, 14 high schoolers is not, it's not the most fun thing to do in the world. But, it's a blessing for what I get to wake up and do every day, and what I get to do for my work and what I get to do for, this, because it's something special, and I don't think there's anything better to do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Derek, you have anything else to add?
Nope. Thank you, Joe, for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. This is the Believeland podcast. I was your host, Cameron Palmer, joined by my co-host once again, Derek Dimmitt, and our special guest, Joe Ewell, owner of the JEA Academy. Thank you guys for watching.